Welcome to Botches Off Road. Today, he's been here before. We've had Derek on a time or three, but he's doing some new stuff here in Michigan that is pretty cool. It, how do you pronounce that? Is it DIORA, DIORA, diarrhea,
Uh, we're diarrhea. No, it's not diarrhea. I'm pronouncing it DIORA, which sounds
DIORA?
very nice and flowery, which, it's very nice. DIORA.
Yeah, that's
How you
the
boys doing today?
Doing
pretty
good.
good. But yeah, the Drummond Island Off Road Alliance. I'm going to be honest, I really am out of the loop on this and haven't paid attention to why you guys split off from Die Rock. I mean, I have some ideas of why you would split off from Die Rock, but
Yeah, yeah. So, high level, what um, DIORC, the Off Road Club, um, is essentially a vehicle for Drummond Island Tourism Association to promote off-roading. However, the board of um, Drummond Island Tourism Association, called DITA, is also the exact same board for DIORC. Um, so their interest is purely financial, which is the correct thing for the island, is to promote the
yep.
financial interests of the island. Um, but they don't have anyone on the board who's a real advocate for the trail systems. They don't have anyone who's really an off-road enthusiast. They have people who are interested in getting people to the island, but they don't understand the unique draw of Drummond Island for the off-road community. So after Marblehead, um, we started meeting with various members of the community. Started meeting with DIORC initially to vent our frustrations and show we were displeased with what happened. Um,
I made it
that move
about 3 meetings of that before I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it took a lot of patience, right? And it's um, anything where you get multiple people together to try. It's agonizingly slow.
Yeah.
Um, but at the end of the day, what we discovered is that the interests of the DIORC and DITA didn't fully align with the off road community. They didn't have that feedback loop. And part of that is part of the reason that the Marblehead issue happened, right?
Yep.
So Diora launched with the mission to bridge that gap, to bring together both the Drummond Island Tourism Association with input from the off road community, and then screening across the DNR, who handles all the grants, with the purpose of, first of all, making sure that something like Marblehead never happens again, and then advocating for and promoting the off-road use of the island from a community user base perspective. So that's where Diora fits in the program. We don't have any real power currently. We are advocates. The DNR will work with us and bring us into the discussions, so we're not left out of the discussions about any changes or anything happening on the island. But we don't really have a voice yet. Part of that is the work that goes into proving to the DNR that, hey, we're a legitimate organization, which we are. We're 501c3, and also that we have an impact. And so we've enlisted both island residents and businesses, as well as kind of Michigan based influential members of the off road community to be part of both the board and the advisory group, to show that, hey, this has got staying power, and it's people who care and can take care of the island.
Yeah, you got quite the list there too, because you've got what, Yeller Life. Trying to think of who else is over there.
Yeah, I mean, we've got people from Michigan Bronco Club. We've got some of the influential people in the Jeep community. We have several local island kind of off road. So like JJ Stressman, who owns the ATV rental and tourism business. Um, Amy and her husband, I think they have the side by side rental business. So it's people who are actually out there, and associated with the trails rather than just people who want, you know, to
Money.
book hotel rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it
No, that
sounds
makes
yeah, sounds like it's a worthwhile venture as far as trying to keep the interest of the off-roading community aligned with the interest of the island. I think.
Yeah, and I think it's boring to talk about, unfortunately, but a lot of it is hey, the process of how things get improved and how things change, right? And little things like, hey, we're gonna have a longer waiting period before we approve stuff. If there's changes to a approved plan, that goes out to both DIORC and DIORA, um, for community input and review, so that we can say, hey, next time, instead of bulldozing the stairs, what if we just hauled in some gravel, which there's plenty of gravel on the island. And we, in fact, have grants, for pretty significant grants, for gravel to do things like harden the base of bottomless pits on the island. So when we talk about, hey, the tank traps, right? They're starting to braid into the woods. There's tons of bypasses that aren't legal. We have a grant to go through and put a base down in the non-obstacle area, what's supposed to be the bypass that is turned into an obstacle.
right.
Um, so we have grants to go back and firm that up so that people stop driving into the woods trying to avoid what is originally the bypass and has become now an obstacle.
Right. Which I mean, it only makes sense to do something like that, and like you have your main obstacle. That's the deal. People going on
Yeah.
the offshoots, destroying more of the natural habitat, and that's kind of what ends up ruining it for everyone else eventually.
Yeah, and at the same time, when they go out and do that work, rather than a contractor driving out there on a Tuesday afternoon, now we know the schedule of, hey, when is that contractor going to be out there? We can send out one of the local island residents to help monitor that work and say, hey, wait, this isn't what was specifically called out on the work order,
Mm.
or the grant, and make sure that, hey, the work that is happening conforms to the vision that the off-road community, as well as the island residents and the DNR have for the island.
That's awesome.
Right.
You mentioned grants, and I was just reading on their Facebook page that they applied for the BF Goodrich Outstanding Trails Grant, presented by Tread Lightly, which is pretty cool too.
Yeah, so we're working on a relationship with Tread Lightly. Currently, Tread Lightly has a 10-year contract, I believe, with DIORC. So we're beginning the process of showing Tread Lightly that, hey, we're the ones with active people out there, rather than having to wait a full 6 months for an event like Jeep Jamboree to happen. We can go out there and get signs or trail adjustments done in days rather than months.
Oh
So
yeah,
when somebody when somebody removes a sign, or if a rock gets dragged out of place for at Marblehead, someone like Paul Hammers, or the JJ Stressman, those guys can go out and same day go and drag that back and say, hey, we know how this is supposed to be. This is what the agreement was with the DNR. We can make those fixes immediately rather than 6 months later.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It kind of
So that's
streamlines it
that's
too.
yeah. So that's one of the grants. We're applying for several others. Right now, the DNRs, I think there's like $50,000 in grants up for approval by the DNR. So that's things like outhouses at the various parking lots, trash bins, bear resistant trash bins. There's some of the work on the bypasses to prevent the braiding, again, to firm those up. So you may, if you look at the list, and I think it's public, um, you may see, like, hey, gravel to the tank traps, and you go, whoa, 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 what are we doing with that? Well, that's not to go into the tank traps. That's to go into the bypass route around the tank traps. The tank traps are still to be left alone.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, so there's multiple grants, and the nice part is hey, we're able to go out there and give the DNR pictures, that are relevant and fresh, with GPS tags of, hey, here's what you're proposing, here's what you're talking about, here's what the current conditions are, rather than them relying on a survey from 2022 or 2023.
Right, right.
Yeah, it looks like the Drummond Island Off Road Club just posted something on Facebook a little while ago. You mentioned someone moving the rocks, and yeah, they just had reports of someone who had winched the boulders away from Shale Beach entrance and driven onto the beach. And
Yep.
looks like they got a hold of Paul and Sidney Hammers from DIORC and DIGA, and it was handled pretty quickly. It looks like. Let's
Yep.
see.
So it's the interesting thing is Drummond Island's not a big island,
Right.
and everyone kind of knows everyone.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, so like Paul and Cindy Hammers going out there, they're out there pretty frequently on the trails, so they're kind of the go-to for, hey, something's going on. Shell Beach, obviously, I think we've all been out there. Um, it's really easy to winch or rock out of place, and you can drive down. If you look at Google Maps, you can even see the tracks.
Yeah.
But you can see tracks leading all the way down to below Marblehead on the shoreline, where people have obviously driven down there. Um, and it's just a challenging thing, right? Because if you want to build infrastructure there, you kind of ruin the natural feeling of the island. If you
Right.
drag rocks there, they can just drag rocks back. So it's it's kind of a balancing act of, hey, nobody wants to see a big metal gate there, but also we want to prevent an incident like what happened. I think a local snapped a picture of 5 or 6 trucks, a half mile down from the parking lot on Shell Beach,
Yeah.
um, and posted that on the Drummond Island community page.
Yeah. It's a shame. I mean, and that's something that happens in a lot of places. I mean, Drummond Island is special because of how big of a tourist trap it is for off-roaders in Michigan, but that's a common occurrence for a lot of places in Michigan. Um,
And
it's
it's not just Michigan actually.
right.
If you look at Facebook and out in California, they have all the gatekeepers, and a lot of the California 4x4 groups, I just kind of peek around every now and then. And there's a bunch of complaints that people winch the rocks for the gatekeepers out of the
Yeah.
way to get over the gatekeeper. It's like, buddy, if you can't make the gatekeeper, you're gonna have a bad day on the trail.
Yeah.
We have that issue out west a lot. I remember there's a trail on Fort Huachuca that it's like every weekend someone was winching the rocks out of the way just so they could get over it.
Yeah.
And it
Well,
just
what was it? It was a Forerunner or something that got stuck out into like the salt flats or something and witched on like a historical.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, they tracked that guy down, I
oh yeah,
think.
they did. They caught his ass. Yeah,
Yeah,
they got
they
him.
had a lot of people out there looking for him. They
Yeah,
were
yeah.
pissed
I don't
off.
remember what the historical piece was. I don't remember, but I remember he tried to winch it and he ended up destroying that in the
And it's
process.
that's one of the things. That's one of the things is you can put things up to keep honest people honest. So for example, the first year that we went to Drummond Island, we camped at that little cove past the bridge on the North Loop.
Yeah,
Um, the rocks had been winched out of the way before we got there, and we didn't know you weren't allowed to camp there. There's no signs. And then, 2 years later, all of a sudden there's rocks and signs there. And when I started getting involved, hey, what happened with that camping area? Oh, that was never a camping area. That was always supposed to be roped off, but people kept winching. So as soon as we learned about it, obviously we stayed off it. So it keeps honest people honest, but I mean, people who are going to do stupid stuff and don't care. Great example. I'm not going to name names. Um, in Michigan Overland, there used to be a guy, the Facebook group. There used to be a guy. He had a Tacoma, um, and he would ask a bunch of questions about, hey, I'm going to go to this area, that area, and people would give him really great advice, and he would do the opposite of that every single time. He
yeah,
ended up getting a ticket on Drummond. He got off the ferry and headed north along the shoreline, the first like access road he could, which is a state wildlife area or something. Like you're not no wheeled vehicles at all,
yeah,
and then got ticketed for being on the shoreline, like on the north side of the island, like 5 miles from the ferry.
yeah. And
And
you
it's like,
and you know exactly that he knew exactly what he was doing too. He just had a
Right.
disregard for any advice and any rules. I mean, there is a
Yep.
bit of leeway for ignorance, and I think people just don't do their due diligence when it comes to this stuff, because if you think about the experience that we have now, maybe using Onyx to help us, looking up the state laws for where you can and can't go. A lot of tourists don't do that. They don't think of that. They just assume that
Yep.
you can go wherever you have tire tracks, and that causes a lot of issues in itself.
Exactly. And that's where again we can help keep honest people honest, but for someone who's dead set on going out there and going wherever they want to go, there isn't a whole lot we can do.
Right,
Now
right,
we are working to get a grant for the county sheriff or the sheriff deputy to go through the DNR training program. That'll allow them to write tickets on the trails. Um, they still have to have the funding for side by side or something like that. Um, but in situations um, where at least on a busy weekend you can have someone patrolling the popular spots and making sure there's not cars on the cliff at Marblehead
right.
or driving down Shale Beach.
Yeah, I think some
Um,
of it too is that there is a no, like people understand and know that the people like law enforcement can't get out there.
yep,
Um, and I know when I lived on Beaver Island, people knew that there was one law enforcement officer on the island, and that he couldn't be everywhere at once, and that kind of led to people destroying some of these natural places, just knowing that they were most likely, going to get away with it. And I think even just
yeah,
having him in a razor side by side is enough to deter some people at least.
and that's really is even just seeing them on the island and a side by side. It's enough that the Drummond Island community page is super active. Their Facebook group, you'll see that, oh, the cop's on the island. Someone will post, oh, I see the cop. It's enough to get people thinking that, you know what, maybe I don't need to do this today on the off chance that the cop is around the corner there.
Yeah,
Right.
Right.
That's you know, I'm not, I don't want a cop driving around and giving everyone a ticket for every little thing. Right. That's not what we want, but we do want someone to go out there and say, look, guys, you can't throw your beer bottles over
yeah,
Marblehead,
yeah,
and you can't be, like littering. Yeah, let's go get them. Um,
yeah. At the
but
end
you
of the
don't need a cop
day,
out.
people need to be held accountable for what they think they can get away with. And I had an instance here a couple weeks ago where people were trashing a public land, and I held them accountable for it. And you wouldn't believe the amount of locals that were actually disappointed in me because I was ratting people out over
Yeah,
over littering on public land. And I'm like, dude, someone's got to keep these people accountable, because if not, you end up with dump spots all around our public lands that
and
that eventually get trails shut down.
you see the spring too. Right? You see one bag on the side of the road. The next year, you see some tires in the back spring, and no one does anything. And then eventually, it's something in people's mind relates that to, oh, this is where people dump trash,
Right.
and all of a sudden 3 years later it looks like a roadside dump. But you don't tend to see that if it's kept clean and orderly.
No, and I think for people who are more conscious of what they're doing, like our groups, obviously Drummond Island's doing their part. I know Mint State Tours stands for that. I know the groups that I take out, they're the same way. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's our responsibility, but in a way it is, because we all own that land, and
Yep.
we have a responsibility to educate other people. Maybe we can't do citizens arrests, even though we want to, and zip tie them up until someone comes along to pick them up. But trying to properly educate them in a polite manner so that they understand that you can't just trash these sites or remove rocks from the ways. Like, we all have that responsibility to make sure that we
Yeah,
hold
and
each other accountable.
I on that note, Gavin, if for those of you listening, if you see something like that happening, right, you the DNR is pretty darn responsive to video evidence. The
Yeah.
hooligans UTV guy, right? You remember that guy got some large fines for going off trail and going up a hill, um, based purely on video evidence. The DNR was not there when it happened. They simply reviewed the video evidence with the geotags or the geocoded information on it. And that guy went to court and had to settle because, they had him dead to rights. So if you're able to provide video evidence to the DNR for something that's pretty, outrageous, for, like, I think Gavin, you had someone like littering or that you caught, or dumping
Yep.
tires.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to interact with the person. Get a video, try and get their plate, send it to the DNR. You don't have to tell anyone else.
Yep.
But at least the DNR's got a lot of power for that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. No need to put yourself in danger over it, but
exactly,
if you're in a
you don't need to
position,
confront anyone.
yeah, if you're in the position though that you can get some information and like a license plate or take some sneaky video or something, it's all of our land, and not that I'm bashing DNR, because DNR does have a lot of good aspects and vision, but there's no reason to give the DNR excuses to give us for the reasons why they're shutting down our trails. So, a lot of the times it's either misuse of the trail, like making bypasses where you're not supposed to, or dumping and littering and, trashing the wildlife. Let's not give them any excuses so that they can also be held accountable for,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think when you present solid evidence, and it's not just, hey, this is a group of people doing this, but one specific individual, they don't seem to be as interested in closing the trails. They seem to be able to do that if, hey, we don't have the resources to police this or catch the people.
Right.
Then their real only alternative by their handbook is to close it down because we don't have the resources to police this.
Yeah.
But if you give them, hey, here's video evidence with all the geocoding and all that, that gives them the evidence that they need to go after the people who did it. And then they're much less interested in shutting down the trails and much more interested in going after and getting, whatever restitution or from the people who did that. So
yeah. When they don't have the resources to do it themselves, it helps a lot when the community stands together to protect these areas, to make sure, again, we're holding everybody accountable for it. And when you have a community of people that are doing that, and people around you who obviously don't care, they know that the community is like that, they're a lot less likely to do it too. I mean, it's one of those things where, you bring yourself around a bunch of people that don't like littering, you're probably not going to litter as much, it's, it's kind of a taboo. So it's just hoping that, I think Drummond Island's doing a very good job with that. I've heard a lot of good about just the trash in general being a lot better. I'd like to see, and I don't know if they do, I probably have to look, but I'd like to see something around the Copper Harbor area, Cliff Mine.
So Copper Harbor has it. I think Cindy Pope, with, I want to say it's KORC.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Core,
But I think Cindy Pope's involved with it. But they have trash bins at like High Rock where they have volunteers go and take the trash out and stuff like that.
Yeah, I seen that, and so we did an interview with her when we first started. She was like, maybe our third interview, one of our first interviews, and she talked about that, and that was before I had been to High Rock Bay yet. About how when you got out there, it was just absolutely disgusting. They called them, what do they call them, little white rabbits or something?
Something like that.
The white flowers.
White flowers,
yeah.
And she talked about how there was little teepee flowers everywhere because people were just taking dumps in the woods, and there was garbage all over. And when I went to High Rock Bay, I believe they had those trash cans when we went up there, and I can't remember. I think they did. Did you see any when we went up, or did you not go up that far on that one?
I didn't go up that far, but the trash cans have been there since I want to say 2023.
Yeah,
or even earlier than that.
Yeah, I was pretty sure I saw them up there.
I was up there last in 23, and they weren't there. So.
Yeah, so it must have been later that year. But either way, I went up there, and yeah, the whole area was clean. Like I didn't find any garbage around. We didn't actually camp on High Rock because there were so many other people right up there. We went down along the side. There was a little trail down there that went along the beach area.
Oh, to the rocket range.
No. So like when you go up to High Rock, you get all the way up to the edge. You turn around, and to the right, there's a little trail that goes down a hill. And maybe 30 to 40 yards, you run into a whole like beach level camp spots down there.
Okay.
And that's where Joe and Steve and the rest, they kind of went up to that area and camped. And me and Mike and Melissa were down there on those beachfront campsites, basically. You know, there was obviously more rock and beach there, but down there, yeah, it was absolutely clean. I think they even had a makeshift porta potty that was down there, but I don't know if that was their doing. But
yeah, I feel like I recall there being a porta potty as part of the plan, but I don't know that much about it.
Yeah, but it's good to see that happening, though.
Yeah, and honestly, that's with DIORA. You know, that's one of the things is getting, especially at when you look at fossil ledges, right? You go into the woods at fossil ledges and it's gross.
Yeah, very.
And that's been one of the things that we've been trying to figure out is, yeah, we can get a outhouse out there, but none of the pumper trucks that are on the island are willing to do it. So you'd have to look at a DNR grant to build or procure an off-road pumper truck, and I think they have them on. I want to say on the Rubicon, don't they have one?
Yeah, the Rubicon has an off-road pumper truck. It was built by someone in one of the off-road groups out there. Built the truck for the BLM to use for pumping those tanks. So.
I would love to see that. I think that would be actually really cool to see jumping down the trail.
Yeah.
They actually. The groups out there are a lot more involved on like an actual maintenance aspect.
Yeah.
Because they have like Friends of Rubicon, stuff like that. We don't really get that opportunity here because we don't have like an adopt a trail program per se. We have adopt a forest, sure, but that's not quite the same thing.
So like the snowmobile clubs do have adaptive trails, and I think like Great Lakes Four-Wheel Drive Association has, I don't know if it's a trail as much as a region of trails that they maintain.
It's the Adopt a Forest.
That's the Adopt a Forest. Actually,
if you listen to our interview with Tom, I think it's Tom is the president of Great Lakes Four-Wheel Drive. Yeah. If you listen to my interview with Tom, we went deep down that rabbit hole. Yeah, Tom's an awesome guy, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Michigan's got some great, some great people involved in the 4x4 community. It's just everyone seems to be really independent. There doesn't seem to be kind of this community aspect of it as much. Now, I know I speak as one of the leaders of Men's State Tours, which is a pretty big community. But you don't see that like you see in California where there's active and involved. I don't know if that's just a function of, hey, California's just got a ton of money and a lot more hobbyists.
Yeah.
Because you look at Silver Lake and the SLRA, like they've got some, but you don't see that for anywhere else in Michigan.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that as a whole, Michigan isn't necessarily viewed for the off-road. I mean, when you look at, like overlanders and typical outdoor enthusiast off-roaders, they don't look at Michigan as the place to go wheeling. You have Drummond Island, you have Silver Lakes, and then maybe a few spots in the UP.
If you know somebody,
right? But on average, Michigan isn't really well known for that, and I think that kind of is part of it. And I think that's up to us to kind of voice out that there's more here than meets the eye, and try.
Also, Michigan's really only good for overlanders, because overlanders, they're not going to be going on the hard trails like the Rubicon anyway. They're going to be, doing like service roads, and we don't have the hard off-roading that the off-road clubs would bring. And I know you guys fall more in the overland space here, but overlanders don't have that same sense of community that off-roaders do.
It's
when
overlanding is a very, in general, now my group's different, but in general, it's a very individual hobby.
Yeah. And I also think that overlanding as a term and as groups go is a relatively new one as far as that goes. Like off-roaders, rock crawlers, and that's kind of been a thing for a while. Then you have car camping, and we knew about that. That's been a thing for, since the 60s, 70s, people living in their vans. But overlanding as a term, and what I guess encompasses that, is relatively new and really kind of blew up around COVID when everybody was trying to get out. So I think for quote-unquote overlanders, Michigan is a really beautiful place to go. There's tons to see for them, but it's not well known because I would say the community isn't as developed and mature as some of these other ones. Like you said, they're more, they kind of keep to themselves, and maybe that's because of when most of this was started around COVID, and that was kind of how you had to. But you do see a lot of these groups coming out, like Mint State Tours, but you have Benji in Missouri is United by Overland. Those kind of Facebook groups are getting bigger and bigger. The communities are growing, and they're having a bigger impact on just in general the off-roading community and space. So it's good to see. I don't think it's going to decline the hobby. I think that maybe the sales part, the products might, but I think that's going to stick around for a while. People have been doing that kind of thing for a long time before there was such a term to it.
Originally, right, it was overlanding was just what you did when you were doing the Rubicon, right? And then guys said, "Well, I'm sick of breaking my truck or something like that. I'm just gonna do the camping and light wheeling instead of doing the hard trails."
Yeah.
So
And I think overlanding it pushes a different type of experience as well. Like you're looking at not necessarily the trail itself, but the whole experience. Some of the destinations are the goal, where I think with off-roading, the destination and the goal is the trail, whereas overlanding, you're hitting destinations and your goals are along the trail. The trail is just part of it. So, but I think that's definitely gaining a lot of traction. And we've all seen it in our space. It's gained a lot of traction. People come in, they stay in for a little bit, they leave when they figure out they just want a camper. They can't do it or something, but
it's like there's like a 2-year cycle, right?
Yeah.
Someone gets in, they kind of like go hard on it, and then they back out about 2 years later.
Yep. And then you see all of their equipment on Marketplace. And,
They realize that scratching their truck really hurts emotionally.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And
I don't get it. Just drive rusty shit boxes and you're good to go.
Yeah. Zach learned this lesson this last weekend where I took him down.
It's called tight.
Yeah, I took him down a trail called Tight Twiddler Trail, and man, that was the name of the trail, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together that it was going to be tight and twiggy or something. And we got into that trail, and we were stopping every couple minutes, cutting branches and stuff. Zach ended up ripping his awning right off the side of his truck because of a tree. It was all good fun. He got it back on, but.
His wife was with him, wasn't she?
Yeah, she mentioned a few times that his truck was too fucking big for this shit. It was hilarious. Yeah, we did the one where it was the creek crossing, and that was the beginning of our trail ride. It was like 4 minutes into our trail ride when we hit the trail. I had him start that. I got across fine. Austin got in, immediately got stuck, and like everybody who knows Austin. Yeah, everybody who knows Austin, he's like the least likely to get stuck. out of that group.
It's funny though. One of the advantages of going first is you still got a little bit of crust left on whatever is there, and
Yeah.
you get a little bit of a help. So it's like, boy, I got across, but everyone else is gonna have a hard day.
Yeah. Yeah. So it wasn't like particularly muddy or anything. It was just there were roots and then a drop that went in about 1.5 feet, and the roots were exactly my wheelbase. And on his, I guess his wheelbase is a little more. They went
wider?
right in. Yeah, they went right into his. He had one piece of root that literally lodged itself into his wheel, to where he couldn't move back or forward. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, we all got through it eventually. We had to make some light changes, stack some rocks and stuff, but it was a blast. It took us about 40 minutes to get all the trucks through.
I really want to know if I could get the 4Runner through there now.
Yeah, you could probably do the bypass part for sure, which was already there, and it's already established, and it's part of that route before anybody says anything, since we were just talking about illegal bypasses. This is a legal bypass. It's part of that trail. It's just a different route.
As long as the trees are just wide enough, I'm good. I can make it through.
Yeah, and that was the thing, too, is the trees were... It's not like you can cut those down or anything, so you had to just make it work or take it around, and Zach had to go around. But, yeah, we got all through that. It was a blast. And then we found a bunch of other stuff. But my campsite, getting back on topic, it was so busy. There were
Are we
people
on a topic
everywhere.
right now? I feel like we're way off.
Well... Yeah,
we're just talking now.
Yeah,
We
but
meander.
yeah, but when I got to
we do the weave.
Yeah, we go back and
The
forth.
weave, yes.
Yeah, but when I got to this campsite and finally settled on it, the trash in this campsite was horrible. It was like some local. I'm blaming a local. Came and decided to burn all their wires to take it to the scrapyard, and then never got them back out. And there was, glass shards everywhere, wire. I don't even know what it was. It was just like 3,000 pieces of like 6 to 12-inch wire, all cut separately, all kind of like mangled together and stuff. So
at least there were no diapers half burnt in the fire pit.
Yeah, so we got lucky there. We got lucky.
I don't think that guy likes my sense of humor.
No, yeah.
That's a reference to a post on Michigan Overland that some guy got mad at me.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
You commented on it.
Did I? Oh, that's funny. No, we cleaned up a site last year that was just, there were like 4 or 5 half burnt diapers with shit in them in the fire pits. It was.
It's not even hard to put them in trash bags, dude. I have a kid who shits in diapers, and it's really not hard where you change him to just walk 3 feet to your trash bag and throw it in there.
I understand. Just some people are just gross, man. Like
it's really all it is. Some people are just gross. Those people, you go to those campsites after them, and you're like, "How do you guys live?" Like, I bet your house is disgusting.
Oh,
and yeah, but so me and Tom, Austin's dad, we walked around camp. We filled up a complete kitchen garbage bag full of wire and half of a whole other one full of other junk, and cleaned the side up. And then Ed and Rebecca's niece actually started her own little fire for the first time, and in the fire pit, it was really cool because she's like a city girl and she never started a fire. So, and it was her first time ever camping. So she had a blast. Cool. And then she got so into this fire and everything that she went and for a good 45 minutes picked out rocks from around the whole campsite and in the woods.
Oh, I saw the fire ring.
Yeah, and she made this fire ring to keep the kids out and to try to make it look nicer for people so that they wouldn't want to trash it. So it was really cool. But yeah, we left it a lot cleaner than we got to it, and I think that's also a responsibility that we all have. We aren't garbage men, but if we do run across it, it's just trash. Like, pick it up and
one of the other things on the topic of trash, is so DIORA is working on grants for the spare tire trash bags, like the mesh kind that are 10 uses and then you toss them out. Um,
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
so we're working on a grant for those so that they can be handed out at the company, which is I think Beavers on Drummond Island, something like that. Um, but I think Tread Lightly provides grants for that stuff where you can just hand it out, right? Because a lot of people, you drive past trash, and if you don't have your trasharoo or something on your truck, it's like, well, I'm not going to put someone's nasty trash in my truck. I
Right.
don't, I don't really want to do that. But if you got a trasharoo or the trash bag on your spare tire or on the back of the truck, then it's like, well, it's not in my truck. I don't mind that as much. So we're
Right.
hoping. I think we'll probably get the grant for that. We're hoping to be able to hand those out, or if not, then to purchase them at very low cost, to sell for $1 or two, and
Oh, yeah.
hoping that'll help kind of keep some of the trails on Drummond cleaner. If more people feel like, hey, I can pick up some trash and it's not going to be sitting, someone's nasty diaper is not going to be sitting next to me on the floorboard.
Right. Yeah, yeah. No, that's a good idea, and I really like that. That can open up a lot for, tread lightly events or something where we can equip everybody with one of these, and we can do the trails and pick up the trash as you do the trails, and
Yeah, and that's our thoughts.
stuff
Is
like that.
if everybody's got one, who's out there, then it makes it really easy. Yeah, I just pick up a couple cans here, and then somebody else picks up a couple cans there, and eventually all the side by sides trash has been picked up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, really, it's
Dude,
all it is.
not Michigan related. Do you remember that last year when we went to Kentucky and all the fucking beer bottles just floating in puddles?
Yeah, well,
Oh, that's disgusting.
that's the puddle. Well, it's the puddle that got Bill, and that thing is bottomless, dude. It's like 4 feet deep. I know
Oh
exactly.
no, I found the bottom.
I know exactly what happened in that thing. Some dude got stuck, and while he was waiting for his buddies to come get him, he started drinking beer and just throwing them out the window. I know
Yeah,
exactly.
But that
exactly.
wasn't the only spot. Once we got off the park, dude, it was like every trail. It was just a thick layer of trash on every side.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
just goes back to holding people
So-
responsible.
I think, and don't. Oh, my microphone appears to be noisy.
Oh, you're okay.
Oh, you're
Right.
good. We hear you.
I think Kurt and Megan Reynolds, Busted to Built, they're talking about doing working with them to do a trail cleanup at Leatherwood. You look at a park like Windrock, and they got a huge amount of staff and volunteers. Leatherwood's a pretty tight and lean operation as they're trying to get through their growth phase.
Yeah.
And they're big.
And
Yeah.
they're huge. Yeah, they're 50,000 acres. So I think Kurt and Megan had talked about with Terry, who's the owner, of doing a trail cleanup either this fall or sometime next year. We'll probably incorporate it with Minton State Tours next trip when we go down there. But yeah, we did notice that at Leatherwood as well.
And that's a cool spot to where, and I've wanted to do this around this area to like do a competition. Gambler has something similar to that, like whoever gets the most trash. Yeah, hi buddy. That's whoever gets the most trash, wins a giveaway or something, or gets put into a giveaway or a raffle, and it's just kind of brings some fun into it. I know out with the kids, with my son, it's a fun thing that we do to pick up other people's trash, of course. But
No, I mean, and it makes it fun, right? If it's like, oh, whoever gets the most pounds of trash is gonna win, win a T-shirt or something like that. Then it's kind of fun, right? You make a goofy T-shirt that's kind of fun for people, and yeah, that's a good way to go about it.
yeah, I mean it's just a positive way. Yeah, I know. Sorry, my kid came in to see what I was doing. But yeah, no, it's just a positive way for the community. Maybe working with Onyx or something, Leatherwood maybe can give away like a year subscription or something to people, to whoever gets the most garbage, or whoever that gets
Yep.
the most unique garbage. There's multiple trophies I think Gambler does for it. The biggest piece, whoever gets the most unique or weird thing. Um, it's just a fun way to make an event. Picking up garbage isn't the most glamorous and isn't the most fun, but it's just a fun way to add a spin to it and make it a little less, I don't know how you would say it, not boring, but down.
And Onyx actually has a trail revival project that they teamed up with Toyota for.
I saw that.
And they'll give you grants to buy stuff that you need.
Yeah.
And one of the perks is they do win a chainsaw.
Yes.
So they do some really cool stuff.
So they did a few of those after the storms that we had this last winter. I think it might have been actually the year before in Grayling. They did trail cleanups in Grayling, I think in Muskegon areas, where anybody who volunteered to help with the trail cleanup and clean the paths, take the trees out of the paths and stuff, they were entered in for a raffle for a chainsaw. So it was really cool. I think they actually they gave you money for food and stuff. So like food and drinks were there.
I'm trying to remember what it was Tyler said he got from him. I think it was like $2,500.
Yeah.
For his cleanup on the Rubicon.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And I'd love to do something like that. Maybe not around here because there's not a massive amount of trails. Maybe I'd just do something more local, but it would be really cool to do around like Kalkaska area where it's just or Everett, for example, because Everett's a massive trail area.
Says there's not a lot of trails. Is in the county in the Lower Peninsula with almost the most trails.
Yeah. But as far as like having like motorcycle and ORV and the whole, like the drop off for it, like an established off-road trail system. That's kind of what I was.
Yeah, that's something like. There's plenty of local clubs, especially in the Lower Peninsula, where it's easy. For sure. It's easy to probably get some Jeep guys out there to help out as well.
Oh yeah. Jeep guys, they're Jeep guys, but at least they care. They're not side by siders.
They tend to show up too when a club does an event.
Yeah. If you advertise that there's a special edition rubber ducky for the event, they will be there and they will help. So it's a lot of fun. It's like if you advertise that there's free CVs for every Toyota that attends the event. Toyota guys will show up. So
free tie rods.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it's great to hear what you're doing with Drummond Island. It's really cool to see the alliance kind of grow, and I'm sure as it gains more popularity and as you guys kind of, I guess, establish a bigger presence, it's going to be really cool to see what that actually turns into in the future.
Yeah, so I'm going to plug it real quick. If you listen to this, and maybe you can put this at the beginning too. I don't know how to do all that fancy video hacking.
Editing?
Editing, yeah, that's the word. But if you're listening to this and you're curious what DIORA is about, go find us on Facebook, Drummond Island Off-Road Alliance. Go check it out and, join up. And if you feel like you're pretty passionate about the island, get a paid membership. It definitely helps us, prevent another Marblehead and make your voices heard.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we really appreciate you on here, Derek, and helping us inform us on what this is, what you guys are doing. Do you guys have any, as far as the Drummond Island Off-Road Alliance, do you guys have anything coming up that's exciting or anything that you want to talk about before we go off?
Let me see here. I'm going to jog my memory here. I think we have the fall cleanup September 26th. Saturday, September 26th. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So we have the fall cleanup then. Other than that, the monthly Zoom calls are all posted on the DIORA Facebook group. So you're able to go to the group and if you want to join in on one of the Zoom calls, see what kind of we're about, you can go there and get the link to that and attend one of the meetings.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we appreciate you on here helping educate us and talk about this. Alex, do you have anything to add before we sign off?
No, I think we're good.
All right.
Actually, one thing. A really helpful tool is to go to the DNR's dump site viewer. You can find sites. Some of them are kind of old. Like here's one from July. But if you're looking to really clean up trails, just hop on there and go out to the site and see what's there and pick it up.
Yeah, that or the Sons of Smoky app.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Sons of Smoky's really good too.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. Good plug.
I think it's more popular out west, but definitely worth checking out for Michigan too.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Derek. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having me, boys. Hopefully we'll see
Yeah.
you at the next Rigs and Coffee, or I don't even know when our next trail ride. Oh, we're going up to the Keweenaw in a week. So
Yeah, yep. you guys are
Yeah, I'm
doing
not.
that.
I won't be there.
I don't
Yeah.
think you guys signed
Gavin.
up. I closed sign ups. We got
Yeah.
way too many people. So
Yeah. I think my next exploration trip will have a limited amount of signups as well. It
It's-
makes it hard to do exploration trips with 10 cars.
it's getting to that point where I hate doing it, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to start cutting group sizes as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
With as popular as it's getting to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's growing.
Yeah, I can't do a whole lot of in Michigan stuff this year because I'm going to the Ozarks in November
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
for
right.
like 14 days.
Are you going out there with
Yeah, that's going to
Patrick?
be fun.
I will be out there with Patrick.
Yeah, I think
man.
Patrick's already going to be there, yeah.
Oh yeah, I
because-
guess he lives there, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And we're going to Patrick's shop. That's the main reason to
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah, the Friendsgiving that Benji has yearly up there, so
Nice.
so that's going to be pretty fun. I might attend that as well. We'll see. We'll see what
I hope
plays
so.
out. At least maybe as a videographer, we'll see.
Yeah,
Get some good video.
absolutely.
All right. Well, I appreciate you
boys.
guys listening to this one. Thanks, Derek, for showing up and talking about it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, and we'll
Yeah,
see you
always.
guys on the next one.
Later.